Confidence, over to you.
Yes, all right. Thank you, Gary. You're all welcome once again. It's nice having you here, and we expect to have a very good time here. Right, so we are looking at digital literacy, and then we know what literacy is about. My name is Confidence again, and I'll be taking you through this in the next 10, 15 minutes. Our objective here is to look at internet and or social media threats and risks that it poses, media literacy in general. We will discuss fake news, disinformation, and misinformation. But then we will pay more attention to fake news because that has been the trend of the day now. Gamili, please kindly move the slides for me as I move on. Right, so first on the list, we are looking at online safety. When we say online safety, what does it mean? So generally, it means acting safe on the internet. How do we act very safe on the internet? The internet is a very big space. We understand the internet is not owned by any country or any government organization. However, there are institutions that governs what should be on the internet, who is to be on the internet at a particular time, and etc. So basically, acting safe on the internet is taking precautions to be safe. In our normal environment, we have safety measures. For example, if you are crossing a road, you know that you have to use the zebra crossing and all. When you are in your house, you have physical safety. But then we pay least attention to our safety online. We don't care, and then we put things just out there. At the end of the day, we know it will have that again. Now, when we say internet safety and then risks, I have categorized that into A and B. So we have A part, we have cyberbullying, cyber dating and abuse, and then sexting. Right. So this is just the part that has to do with the other. I mean, you are the individual on the web or using the internet. So cyberbullying is just a generic thing we've heard over and over. So cyber is internet or anything on the electronic media. So it can be on your mobile phone, on social media, etc. Through phone, text, SMS. So when you are bullied, you know bullying in the physical bullying as when someone is, assaulted, maybe through physical or anything of that sort. There are several cases of cyberbullying that we've heard about. People just intimidate people on the internet, and then cyber dating abuse. We've come to a world that everything has been different from the other century that just passed. You can now date people on the internet, but then there are abuses that comes with it. How do we look at that? I mean, as internet users, and then sexting. So this has to do more about sharing. How do I put it? Sharing good content or anything that's related to sexual stuff on the internet. Often it happens in the cases of children or millennials when a child below, the age of 16 is being assaulted, and I say it's been harassed by, a senior person or anything of that sort. So in most cases, you find out that you have a kid in the house, 12 years, 13 years, she's using the internet, and then a lot of guys are sending her friend requests. A lot of guys are, sending head nudes. These are all forms of cyberbullying. Now, the other part B, we are looking at spam, hardware, Trojan virus. Okay, so I'll pick few of them and explain because phishing is just down the slide. When you are the internet, apart from you, the actor or the internet user being, and then having this effect as in, which is in A, there are several things that can happen to you that can affect you too. That's B. We look at spam there, hardware, Trojan. These are attacks that is just based on your internet. On your device to take an information from you, to take data from you, or to take money from you in whatever sense that it comes from. I'll start explaining keylogger. So keylogger basically means that an attack that has been sent to you or you fall a victim of an attack, and then anything that you type on your keyboard, someone elsewhere sees it and then they can use it against you. So it can be your password, your bank account details, and etc. Spyware actually just the same thing. So if you use the internet, you download anything or anything that you see, you click on it. There can be a spyware on your PC. So anytime, or your mobile phone, anytime you're on the internet, the person knows what you are doing. We've heard a lot about viruses and then spam and adware. I will share a story about how in between 7 months, I was attacked with a ransomware. So ransomware comes under the B. So ransomware is basically an attack that, is sent and then all your files on your computer or your phone is encrypted. So unless you pay a ransom, you pay money and then you get your files back. These are internet risks that can. So what do you do in that case? In both cases, I lost all my files on my computer at that point. But then, lucky for me, I had backup in the cloud. So yeah, you can do that too. Right. So we are looking at phishing and then how to detect it. As mentioned there, phishing just basically is an attempt to obtain information from someone. So the person wants to get your data. Data is very expensive. You heard about data, it's very expensive. So when you have a lot of data, it means basically you are rich. But then in an attempt that you are harm, but the people are doing that because they need it. That need or the phishing attack will come on maybe your personal data. So your personal data may be your bio data, your age, your sex, okay, your date of birth, and then your full name. When people have this information, they can use it against you in any hearing for some time. As a practice, maybe I learned that to help people in that sense. So, hello, are you on the call? Because I can't hear anyone.
Confidence, you're not alone.
Speaking to myself. Hello.
No. What you're presenting
right.
is so captivating that our full attention is on it.
Pressure has come. Okay. All right. So I have practiced social engineering for some time. So social engineering is basically manipulating humans and then getting information from them. It is very difficult to break computers, I tell you. For example, your phone, it's very difficult for me to get a password. But then the least or the weakest person within the cycle, it's you. So it's you, the user. It's very easy to get information from users. So there was a time that I woke up once again and I said, yes, I have to put all my skill sets into practice. And then within 3 hours, I had taken emails and password of, I think, more than 9 people. And then these are friends who were very close to me. I did it in a way that they didn't know they're giving me their emails and then password. Now, when someone takes your email and password, how or what does the person do with it? Now, in my case, if I take your email and password, I don't have anything against you, but then I log in, I check your email, and then I know your key activities. So I know what you search online at every point in time. I know what you are looking for. So I can take your basic activities. So for example, you are here, I get your email address and password. I look at your activities. So today I know that you search for an ice cream. Today you are looking for a job. So I know what you look and then, I mean, that's just the basic. And the person can do more than that. Once the person has your email and password, the person can send, emails to other people. So we have to be much careful. Now, this all comes to play when we trust people too much. We don't trust anyone on the internet. No, you don't trust anyone. You don't leave things for granted. So that is just by the way. Now, types of phishing, as mentioned there. So, please go to the slide. You see phishing. Phishing, as basically said, is to just get information from someone, which can be data, personal information, or financial details. So phishing, some of phishing can be in email. Next slide. It can be email phishing. So just an attack sent to your email. You will see any scholarship opportunity, you click on it. We don't do that. You see any email from an untrusted person, it's a spam, and then you accept. You don't do that. Most email phishing comes with this. The message is always urgent. It is telling you that, oh, do this, you win this. Yes, I mean, all those, I mean, you'll be on WhatsApp and someone will say, Toyota is giving out car. So the workers in Toyota, they don't know that they will win the car themselves. You are the one looking for Toyota car. It doesn't happen that way. So in the case of email phishing, this is how to look at it. You know that the message comes with agency, the domain, the domain or where the message is coming from has it's weird. And then most phishing also come from personalized email. So for example, confidence1@gmail.com. It will never come with an organizational email, confidence@globallab.com. So you check that. And then most email phishing to have spelling mistake when you critically look at it. And then every phishing, whatever form it be, if it is a text message, if it's a call, if a mobile money phishing or anything, you find some agency in the call. They're demanding you to do something at a point in time. Now, there's something we call spear phishing. So move to the next slide. Spear phishing as in a spear. So it's just directly towards one person. Email phishing, most times we populate with a lot of people. So all of you on this call, I can send you email phishing and then anyone who falls into the net, fine. Spear phishing is just attacking one person. So for example, in an organization, we look at the top hierarchy person, the CEO, you a doctor. So you know a doctor has a lot of information about people. We spearfish them and then we take the information from them, and then you can go on and plan a very good social engineering plan, and then you can get what you want. Whaling, it's also another type of it. So whale comes from the word whale as a big fish in the sea. So this point, we look at the very biggest person in an organization and we attack them. Most of this is done because we need money. Yeah, that's basically the work of people in the dark web. So the internet has 3 different layers. So we have the web and then dark web, and then I'm not sure we are going to talk about this thing. The dark web, that's what people do for money. People have set up organizations and they are working 9 to 5 and then just doing all these attacks to get money. Web phishing is you being on the internet and then clicking any link, or yes, so the clicking any link can come like in a form of last 3 days. A friend had sent me a message on Messenger telling me that is this you with a link. So I click on the link and I realize, no, this is a clone site. So clone site comes like someone can prepare a splash page of Facebook or a landing page like just like Google. You enter in or like Instagram, and then once you log in, the details of your account goes to the person. So that is also there. How do you detect this? So as I said, this message comes from sent from a public domain. So you know that no, this is not coming from a public domain. Now, it includes suspicious attachments or links. You never click on attachments and links that is personalized. You don't know the person, then you are clicking. You want a scholarship, you want funds, and then you are clicking. No, you that you will be in hot waters. So malware and prevention. So malware is just an attack on your device. Not this time, it's not you. So it's just giving you a virus, and then it's just getting something from, just as in the case of a ransomware I had mentioned. In my case, they were requesting $24,000. I have never seen that in my lifetime. So I formatted my PC and then that was the end of the success story. Now, how does this become very important to you? You have an organization, in the future you're running a system, you own a hospital and etc. When your systems are not well secured and you have a malware or you have a ransomware in that sense, it means that they're going to collect, imagine a hospital that a whole lot of data is encrypted, and then a doctor can't access a patient detail, a teacher in a school can't access a student detail. It means that there's chaos. Now, it will surprise you to know that in the US, billions of dollars are lost because of what? Malware. So you have to pay critical attention from here, right? So how do we prevent the malware too? You don't open emails. You don't click on pop-ups when you are browsing the internet. Please don't do that. And then limit your file sharing. You don't share file with a lot of people. So my computer, I hardly take pen drives from people because people have pen drives just like that. And then you insert it into your PC and then you have, some virus, and then you wouldn't know what to do. You update your computer. Some of you don't like updating your system because you think it will waste your bandwidth. We are in a country that data is expensive. Please update. And then often when you're on the internet, don't use your administrator's account. So you can create a guest account, and then when you think you want to do a download from torrent or from anywhere, you can use that. And think twice before clicking on a link. Now, the personal safety, I'll leave that to you for you to go and read, because you know that you are supposed to do that. So I'll share the slide with you on that. I want to go and then look more on fake news, because that's where I'm more interested in. We have media literacy too. So media literacy is just taking understanding all the media or the social media device, being it radio, social media, internet, and everything, how we assess things that comes with it. So the next slide, multimedia literacy. Critically evaluate and then create or manipulate the media. So the information that we share, the tweet that we have, the retweet that we have, the likes, how does it affect us and all? Right, so fake news. Mark Twain, you know, some more than close to a century ago, he said that a lie can travel halfway around the world, while the truth is, you know, laziness shoes. So a fake news can travel halfway around the world, but whilst a true news is still leading its shoes. What does that mean to us? It means that in this world, someone can tell you 2 + 2 is 5. And then you would believe it because that's what the person is saying. In 1995, there was a routine vaccination going on, and then people had said that, oh, this vaccination, if you take it, you will die. The kids are taking the vaccination, they will die. Just like the conspiracy theories that came around when, you know, yes, there's a lot of actors or a lot of publishers around. People are posting on wikis. You know, when you create your content on wiki, it's free, so everyone can go to wiki and then create anything. And what you have on the internet is not always true. I can just sit on the internet and tell you that. I can tell you when you take Vortic, it will heal you from HIV, and someone can take that for a fact too. The point is, human as we are, our desire for quick answers is what we want. Always we want to satisfy our curiosity, and that has led to what we call fake news. Now, when you look at fake news, you have information and then misinformation. In misinformation means an honest mistake. So an honest mistake. So for example, I'm telling them that I live in Cantonment or East Legon. I live in East Legon. So that's the wrong thing. So this is what happens during this space. People are trained to disseminate, news that is fake to counter the right thing. So that is disinformation. They learn that, and then people specialize for that. So in 2009, someone had reported that Obama in the Flagstaff House had been bombarded, and then people were tweeting and retweeting all these things, right? So fake news is influencing information, and then in the Western world or in the Europe, this is how fake news can be. It is influencing people's ideology. It's influencing people's facts in the Western world. Now, in some parts of the world, too, fake news is killing people. When you go to India, there was a case that happened in India, and then people had shared fake news, and then they couldn't understand based on political basis, and then people had to just start war and all those things. There are mathematical properties that surround all these things when you look at it from the algorithm perspective. So, for example, this is how social media works. Now, when someone posts a fake news, when someone likes, when someone shares, when someone reshares, then we will know that, then the algorithm on social media or Facebook or Twitter will know that a lot of people like this information. So it will keep suggesting to people. So that's the whole algorithm about. So fake news. Systems or robots are just there, and then they are doing their work. So this is what we do. How do we know that this is fake news? You know that the account or the person sharing the information on the account has few followers, or it is followed by just few people, and then less active. They are not active. So for example, on Twitter, you know that the person just tweeted like 2 weeks ago, and then the person is coming again, right? So you know that this is just fake news. Literally, or literature suggests to us that humans love novelty. They want to hear something new, just as humans as we are. We want to hear something new. So we call novelty hypothesis. So when we want people to know that, oh, at least I got first-hand information, so I came to tell you that, oh, Mahama is in Bali. Meanwhile, I've not seen Mahama in Bali, but I just want to be between that line for you to know that, oh, I have first-hand information. So most often, that are the causes of what? Fake news, and then we know how what it can result. This, we can try to label information. So for example, when you are buying a drug in the or medicine in the counter, you know that this is what happens. So technology or system designers are trying to label information. I don't know how you understand that, but that is what we are trying to do now, right? People want to know more, and then we don't care about how transparency or how a news should be free from misinformation or disinformation. Now, people tell Facebook that they have to keep their data and they don't release the data to people. And then on the other hand, people want to know what is happening to their data. So Cambridge Analytics went for their data. And then people are saying that, oh, Facebook has given our data to Cambridge Analytics again. We want them to keep the data. And then people had all conspiracy theories surrounding this. So technically, people are now facing what we call transparency paranoid. So tech companies are facing that, and then we are also facing that. When you look at the chart that came earlier, you realize that fake news always comes with surprise. So anytime you see an information and you are surprised, you are disgusted, it creates fear and anger. Just know that it is fake news. Often, that has the highest level of shares, retreat, and then tweets. Just as normal news, Yah is a doctor in CCTH. Abna is in fintech. She is doing great. People will just trust that and then there's joy. It will just be at the low level, right? That's how we look at as human as we are. Now, it means that you don't like the information when you think or you're not certain about share, because when you do that, the algorithm will just think that check if it's right. There are lots of publication or articles about it, but then who is there checking for us to know that, oh, this information is right, this is also wrong? So that's another dilemma we are also in. And then one last thing, kindly read a full article first before you share. So you saw a news article and then you read all the paragraph or the caption and you are ready to share. That will help us. So at the end, I personally think computers will be computers, technology will be technology, but then it is ethics and then philosophy that will save us, and then we will be fine. I am done, and then that's all I have to share with you this evening. So, yes, thank you all.
Wow, Confidence, thank you so much for your presentation. It's quite exhaustive. I think you've given us a whole lecture on not only on internet safety, but also on media literacy. Yeah, I've learned so much. It just reminds me of a quote that I came across when I was in Berlin at the Weizsäcker Institute. I don't know exactly, but then it basically says that technology is a wonderful tool, but if we, as human beings, we don't take care of our greed, we will come to a situation where we are unable to reap its full benefits, or we are unable to have this like full control over it. So yeah, that's a very relevant thought to conclude your wonderful presentation. We have roughly 25 minutes to finish the session, so I would jump straight to Vanessa to hear what she has for us. She's going to focus mainly on media and information literacy, so that after that we can then open up full discussion, questions, answers from everyone else who is present.
So I want to explain some key terminologies. I guess Confidence has already explained some, that is disinformation, misinformation, and media and information literacy. So infodemic, just like we have a pandemic, we also have in the information and media space, infodemic. So infodemic is basically that, like the influx of information. Like information is so widespread, it's gone so viral that we can't tell truth from false. Like we are in a midst where we need information, and it's so much in the space that like it's overflowing. We don't know which one is true. We don't know which one to go for. And as human beings, we use information to make decisions. So we are in a state where, just like when the pandemic set in, like we were looking for ways to protect ourselves, we were waiting on scientists to give us something. So like people were in need of information. And in as much as we were in need of information, information was out there too, but we didn't know which one was true or which one was false. So that is the sort of like the definition for infodemic. And as Confidence said, this disinformation. So disinformation is the deliberate attempt to like spread false information. And misinformation is like not intentional. You don't mean it, but you shared it anyway, but you didn't mean any harm. Then malinformation is another one, but that one has to do with genuine information that you share to cause harm. So maybe it might be a government information, it might be trade secrets of organizations or something. Something that you share is genuine information, but it's to cause harm. That's malinformation. And media and information literacy is basically the skills someone has to be able to access the media, to be able to analyze content on the media, and to be able to create media messages or media content. And then you are also able to reflect on whatever content is on the media, and also after that take action. So one will ask, why do people share false information? So people do it for political gains. So you have politicians sharing false information just to be able to be in the good eyes of the public so that they can earn votes or be in the good books of the public. Then as for monetary gains, people share false information to gain money. That's what some of them do. And some people also share information to sway public opinion. So just like the pandemic came, we had doctors telling us to wash our hands, to social distance. But there were other people who were also sharing false information that's okay, when you do ginger mixture, you're going to be good. So just like false information, just to sway the public from doing the right thing, just to sway us away from doing the right thing. Yes. So that's, and sometimes some people just share it for sharing sake. Like some people are weird like that. So I want to bring about the social psychology behind mis or disinformation. So there's filter bubble. So a filter bubble is a state of intellectual or ideological isolation that may result from algorithms feeding us information we agree with based on our past behavior or search history. So what we tend to believe is that this is just to make us understand why we fall vulnerable to mis or disinformation. So we tend to believe that whatever we see on our feed is what everybody sees, but that is not the case. We are actually in a filter bubble. So what we see is based on our likes, what we like, based on people we follow, and also based on our past online history. So things that we've searched on the web in the past. So in as much as Gameli is my friend on Facebook, it doesn't mean that whatever is on my news feed is the same thing he's also getting. No, Gameli will be getting things relating to open science, technology, and others. And maybe on my Instagram feed, you may be seeing something that has to do with natural hair because I follow such people, thrift shops, and other things. So we are always tempted to believe that whatever we are seeing on our feed is what our friends are seeing. But in actual fact, we are in a filter bubble. We are in sort of like an isolation. It's based on the things that the algorithm feeds us. Then there's heuristic. So heuristic is like a mental shortcut that allows people to solve problems and make judgments quickly. So why does this make us fall vulnerable to this or misinformation? So we can say something like, okay, so you trust confidence. Confidence is somebody you see like as a good person, or like an authority or an expert in digital literacy. Then confidence retweets something on Twitter. You are tempted to believe that because it's coming from confidence, it's true. But for all you know, it's false information that confidence is churning out. So heuristics helps us to make mental shortcuts. So it helps us to make judgments quickly. So that is what makes us fall prey to mis or disinformation. Then we have confirmation bias. So confirmation bias is the tendency to search for, interpret, favor, or recall information in a way that confirms or supports one's prior beliefs or views. So we all have our individual biases. We all have beliefs. We all have values. So once we see something that confirms our belief, we tend to think it's true. And that's one makes us fall prey to miss on this information. So maybe I'm a vegetarian. Then I chance on maybe an article online that says that a vegetarian is twice as intelligent as is twice more intelligent than someone who is not a vegetarian. I'm tempted to quickly share this information because it confirms a belief I already have. So that one has to do with confirmation bias. Then I'll take you through the types of myth or disinformation. So there's satire or parody. So that one has to do with satiric websites that are around. So I give an example as Moon News. I don't know if you've heard of them, but these people are just there for fun purposes. They're just to make fun of serious issues. So if you don't really see it as such, you can share it and you think it's real information, but meanwhile it's not. And there's also parody accounts. So we have a lot of parody accounts on social media. So we have one for Akufo-Addo, we have one for Akufo-Addo's wife, we have one that says he's a president of somewhere, meanwhile they are not. They're just parody accounts of the real accounts. So there's false connection. So false connection has to do with clickbait and sensational headlines. So these are also forms of mis or disinformation. So you see a very like a headline that is so off the topic, but you go and read the content and they have no link. They totally have no link, or just sometimes, like Confidence said, sometimes they're saying, oh, we're going to get free cars from Toyota. Then you quickly go and click, and it's just somebody's link somewhere who wants traffic on his website. So that's for false connection. Then there's misleading content. So taking information out of context, sorry. So misleading use of information to frame an individual. So maybe there's an issue about, let me say maybe the head of state, and maybe he said A, then we take out something that is relating to what we said and we put it out there as information for people to consume, which is not right. So that is misleading content. And false content is genuine information that is shared with a false contextual information. So I have a clear example for this. So there was one time that HIPIC posted, like listed a list of gave out a list of countries that had gone through the HIPIC system. Somebody saw that information and came to say Ghana was back to HIPIC. And the news was all around that Ghana was back to HIPIC. But the truth of the information was that it was just the organization posted the list of people that had gone through the HIPIC system, let me say that had gone through it. So it's false information. It was genuine. The names were posted there. Our name was there. Ghana had once been on HIPIC, but the person takes it and says, oh, we are back to HIPIC. So that is like genuine information, but shared in it with a contextual, like a false contextual information. Then imposter content. So I had Confidence touch on that. So they are genuine sources, but people impersonate those sources. So maybe the BBC, then people will go and clone the BBC website and make it look as if the news the news is coming from BBC, but in real sense, it's not. It's just a cloned BBC website. So people can clone like genuine website, because they know that these people have built trust with the people for a long time. They know that once somebody sees this, saying, oh, it was from the BBC, but meanwhile, it was not. It was just a clone website of the BBC. Then manipulated content. So genuine information or imagery is manipulated to deceive. So this one, people do it a lot, make use of Photoshop. Then maybe you see that the president maybe a Photoshop of a president had fallen or something. Just maybe he wasn't there at that point, but maybe people Photoshop him in weird places just to make fun of it, or maybe and even tweaking original videos. People do this, so it's genuine content, but they add certain things to it to cause harm or just to like sway public opinion, like we said. Then there's fabricated content. So that one is like completely false information that people churn out to cause harm. Example, deep fakes. Like people do a lot of things just to like deceive people. So those are the types we have. So I'm going to go to the tips/tools to verify information. So most of the time, the information that people churn out as like mis or disinformation, you have to check the date. Once you click on the URL to read the article, check the date. Most of the time, the information that comes out is recycled information. It has happened long ago, but it's mimicking a situation in our current state. Then people bring it back. That's exactly what they do. It has happened long time ago, but they bring it back as if it's something new. So most of the time, election violence, you say violence happened somewhere. Most of the time, it happens with elections. You say a violence happened somewhere here. You can read the article and it was maybe 2004 election. It wasn't, but because we are in an election season, we want to mimic like a real situation that is happening. So they bring those things and compare multiple sources. So you just can't take one source as gospel. For all you know, the person or the media house has their own agenda. So compare with other sources. In as much as you have a trusted media house that you trust, compare with other sources to make sure that the information you are getting is from the right is the right information. For I want to chip this in. It's not in my slides, but I want to chip it in. So for media people, there are various types of like journalistic writing. So there's one that is like an opinion piece, is someone's opinion that is going out there. So nowadays, I see most media houses do it. Most of the time, they write a person's name attached to the title of the story so that you know that, oh, this thing is from Vanessa Otchere, so that you know that it's Vanessa Otchere's opinion. So I'm not supposed to take it as gospel, or I'm not supposed to take wholly the truth. And there's like straight news, that's the one, the 6 o'clock ones we hear, that one is there. And there's a feature. A feature is people do research, they take a certain topic and they do research about it and post it out there. And there's an editorial, that's the stand of the media house, what they think, what like their mind. So there's a little bit different from the opinion piece. This one is let's say it's the opinion of the media house. So when it's an editorial, when you read sometimes, when you read newspapers, see there's an editorial part. It's what's the stand of the media house. That's what they are taking out there. So you have to know all these things to be able to tell that this information is partially true or not true at all, or is true. So what you have to also know is that media houses have intentions. In as much as they want to serve the public, they also have their intention. So a media house, there are media houses who are pro-party. So there's pro-MPP media houses, there's pro-NDC media houses, pro-CPD and all that. And there's some media houses who, they all have like different agendas. So you have to be able to know this, to be able to tell whether this news coming from this news website or this media house is true or not. Then I go to check the about us of the website. Like I said, they are satirical websites. So most of them, of those websites, in their about us, they put a disclaimer there that this is just for fun. And if you take it serious, you take it at your own risk. For news, more news is there. So once you read their about us, they posted there a disclaimer that this one is not true news, it's just fun they're making. So once you read it, you know how to be able to take information that's coming there, whether seriously or not serious. Then most of the time you have to check the URL. Like I said, there are people who mimic like genuine websites, like genuine news websites. So you have to check the URL to know if it's really coming from the news websites that is being said it's coming from. So if it's the BBC, you have to check whether it's www.bbc.com and not maybe BBIC. You know, sometimes they write it in such a way, and because thanks to the heuristic I talk about, it makes us like make quick judgment. So it's BBIC, but because of our heuristics, we can easily see it as BBC. The I becomes invisible. Then we have use Google image search. So most of the time, people, like we said, people manipulate images, people manipulate videos. So once you chance on a video and an image online, you have to be able to verify its authenticity. It's just by right-clicking on the image to be able to do a quick Google reverse image search. Once you do the reverse image search, it will, if once the image has appeared online before, it will give you the very first time it was posted. You can also use TinEye. TinEye, you open the website and you upload the image you saw. If you've saved it, you upload it there, and it tells you the number of places or the number of times the image has been posted, the events surrounding it, and the reasons why it was posted. So I remember in the time of the COVID, when people were enforcing lockdowns, there was a picture going around that's of a lion out in the city, and people were saying that it was Putin, like the Russian president, for him, because people didn't. It was like the Russians were stubborn, so he had set out lions out to enforce the lockdown, and it was false. The picture, once you put it in any reverse image, it tells you that there was one time the image was taken in South Africa. There was one time that a lion was spotted out in the street, and people took pictures of it. So once you're able to do a quick Google reverse image search, you can really tell the authenticity of the image. Sorry. Then we have YouTube data viewer. So YouTube data viewer is also to be able to verify videos, but it's just limited to YouTube videos. So it's a web-based video verification. So once you have, maybe you've seen a video and it was posted on YouTube, and you put it in, you download the URL and you put it in YouTube data viewer, like the website, it will give you information about the video, very metadata about the video. And also it can give you thumbnails. And these thumbnails you can use in the Google reverse image search. So that is it from me. And my conclusion is that the ecosystem of information is a complex one. So is the technological age we live in. That it's everyone's responsibility to verify before sharing. So like I always say, seeing is not always believing, and sharing is not always caring. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. You done very well.
Wow, thank you so much, Vanessa. That's a wonderful presentation. Learned so much. I'm particularly intrigued by the concept of filter bubbles. I'm wondering what's in our various filter bubbles. I think we should all take turns to share maybe 2 topics that we are really passionate about, and let's see how our various filter bubbles overlap. I think probably Vanessa talked about open science, so that's probably one for me. And then another one is sports, like football. I think because all the finals of the various competitions are happening recently, so I've been following a lot of how do you call it, sports stuff of late. So I get that in my filter bubble. I wonder what we all have in our filter bubble. So Lois, we haven't heard from you at all. So I think you can introduce yourself and then maybe tell us about your filter bubbles. Maybe one of your topics is scholarships. I was just teasing you in the chat there.
Okay, Kamali, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Set my earphones. Like you said, my filter bubble is all about scholarships. So every now and then I get a lot of pop-ups that comes, and sometimes I even get overwhelmed. And I also love, like someone was saying, natural hair stuff. Looks like the ladies are all going the natural hair way. So I get that. But I really appreciate the talk, given my confidence and I can't remember the name, sorry, Vanessa. And like it's been very insightful because it's funny if you're not really into that whole internet space and stuff, you wouldn't really know. You People were quite wondering how I just, because sometimes I could just go into like a pharmacy called Boots. Like I just go into Boots and the next minute I'm seeing Boots. I didn't mention anything Boots. I didn't say anything Boots. Now I'm seeing Boots adverts all over my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and now like I've gotten to understand how all these things work and stuff like that. So it's very insightful. Like nothing comes by juju or anything. It is what we feed it to be. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, but you haven't introduced yourself.
Okay. I was supposed to do enough. Ended up talking. Okay, so I'm Lois. Currently doing a PhD in nanoscale engineering in at the Open University here in the UK. And aside all things, I like to add this to my portfolio as well. So I have a page called Dear Young Graduate that we usually share fully funded scholarships that are available. And also, yeah, I think it was on. Yeah, so I share fully funded scholarships, and also, yeah, I run a couple of movements on the side.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lois, for your introduction. I'm still quite interested to hear of the filter bubbles of some of the other people on the call. Vanessa, can you tell us a little bit more about your own filter bubbles?
Okay, I think I shared it, but you didn't hear. So mine has to do with, if it's on Instagram, mine has to do with natural hair products and like things to improve my hair, how to grow my hair, and also thrift shops. So like thrift shop that deals in bags, shoes, dresses. Yeah. So most of the time, that's what my Instagram feed is filled with. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I caught the natural hair bit, but I didn't get the other one. Thank you. How about you? Yeah. Hello.
Hi. Yeah, so mine is also, when it comes to Instagram, I like searching for gifts, like customized gifts for friends. So I get that a lot. And then also tattoos. I love art. So I kind of like search for those too. And then when it comes to my browser, I like music too. So I tend to search for trending music, and I get that a lot too. So I think
Yeah, sorry, please go ahead.
yes, so that's basically it. I don't know
Okay.
if you got it. Yeah.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much for sharing your filter bubble with us. I think it's quite interesting. We have one more speaker with us. He was supposed to join us, but then he had an important meeting that he couldn't avoid. So he's joining us rather late. But before we give him the chance to tell us a little bit about what he does, I'd like to find out if anybody has any questions for either Confidence or Vanessa, so that you can bring forward your question for them to answer. Okay, looks like we don't have any questions. So I'll just give the opportunity to our final speaker, Oba, to tell us about himself and and also to share with us what he has for us on today's topic, which is on internet safety and media literacy. Oba works for an organization called Ville Square Makers Hub. So they are into the tech space in Nigeria, and so he will share with us some of the projects that they do connected to this topic. Oba, before you give us your talk, we are discussing filter bubbles. So we would like to know like 2 topics that you follow very keenly online, which also basically composes of your filter bubble online. Over to you.
Thank you, everyone. Sincere apologies for joining in late. I know this is really late, and I apologize for that. I'll just quickly jump into the conversation. Obasegun Ayodele. I lead the technical team at Ville Square, which is focused on research and development to build innovations that improve productivity across Africa communities. And we do a variety of initiatives, some of them which has to do with the Ville Square Makers Hub, which is focused mainly on things around peace building, things around community improvements, and etc. I was thinking more around questions, because I'm kind of looking forward to giving value in this short time. So I was looking more around questions, Q&A around the topic, and then I respond to it more from the case studies of work which we've done, and then other similar initiatives on misinformation, disinformation in regards to the topic. Does that work better, Gamandi?
Well, I mean, I at least have one question for you myself, so maybe we can start from there and then see if, based on your response, other people have other questions. So I've been following one of the projects that your organization does, which is the Glassroom tour, and I've been quite fascinated by it. And so can you share with us a little bit about why you decided to do that project and what you've achieved so far with it?
Okay, great. Thank you for the question. I've shared the link to the event just in case other people don't have access to it. And the goal of it was for us to demystify the concept around fake news, around misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, and to bring in both local partners from Nigeria, experts from across Africa, and then even people beyond the shores of Africa to have a conversation on how best can we tackle fake news, which is becoming one of the main challenges of social development, or of even things like national security across different countries across Africa. So we decided to bring in all those different players in and have conversations around this topic. And it was quite exciting to see the thinking around what fake news is from the local perspective. So, for example, there's a message maybe in your family group or your WhatsApp groups, and somebody says, "Oh, there are some Fulani headsmen, or there's some terrorists that just came into Nigeria from the borders. Please pass this to X number of people, your loved ones," or things like that. And people just start sharing these things without, waiting to really break down these messages to see if this message is fake news, if it's real. They don't even verify it and whatsoever or maybe they send you to a website link that has some information of maybe the president of Nigeria is from South Sudan, you know, and things like that. And you start reading all those kind of information without really verifying where's the link for. Is this link a secured link? Is this link trying to fish for my information? Or, you know, what is the goal of this information I'm looking at? So that was the end goal for us, to basically have a stakeholders engagement with all the different parties involved in media dissemination, and see how we can further educate them on ways they can identify misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. So then that's been basically everything about the misinformation event. One key thing for us was also to incorporate the tactical tech technology into the series of events, and it's called the Glassroom Misinformation Edition. There were the physical exhibitions, which we had. It's all documented on the website too, and those physical exhibitions brought together art pieces that would more or less trigger conversations around digital privacy, will trigger conversations around misinformation as well. So there's the physical ones, and then there were the digital ones, which we had to kind of pivot to because of COVID-19. And so there's the online misinformation Glassroom focused exhibition, which is also on the website too. And what it just does is just expose the minds of viewers to the thinking around mission. So what kind of tools can you use? What are the kind of precautions, or, you know, there are certain platforms you can use to actually verify certain images. So for instance, you see an image and they say, oh, there are X number of people being killed in a certain region. And then you just immediately jump and say, oh yes, this is happening here, and you start sharing it. And meanwhile, maybe that video has been taken maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and somebody just brought it up and put a catchy storyline around it. So there are tools also that you can use to verify videos. You know, there are timestamps to also geotag them. Where were they taken? What time they were taken? And even some other details about it. So basically, the Glassroom Misinformation Edition also walks you through all those kind of thinking. And then finally, there's also the Data Detox workshop, which is embedded in the whole misinformation event, which the tactical tech program also has taken time to design. And what it just simply does is give you simple step-by-step processes that an individual can take to ensure that they safeguard themselves from losing their data privacy in some form. So things like how do you create strong passwords? For instance, some people, the passwords are their bet, the year of their bet, right? So if the person was born maybe in 1982, the person probably has 1982 in their password. Or you have some things, for example, your emails. Some people have their emails and they have the last 2 years, the last 2 digits of the year they were born. So you have something like maybe Gamali 73, you know, something like that. And gamali73@gmail.com. Clearly, I can get 73 from you. I can fill in the rest, you know, and I can guess your password. So all those kind of little things, things like, for instance, going to unsecured websites that have they don't have the green, you know, the green color of secured on the link. So those are some of the little things which people don't also look at. Or for instance, you download a downloader. For instance, you're looking to maybe download a movie, and then in the process of trying to download that movie, they ask you to download a .exe file, and you download that file, and then it installs, and finally you realize that it's a downloader to download the movie. And then you continue, and they say, oh yes, click continue now. You click continue, and then you continue downloading the so-called movie. But meanwhile, they're probably installing a malware on your computer that probably is taking snapshots of your computer screen and uploading it to a certain server somewhere. So all these different concepts, the data detox, is well detailed on things which you should not do, things which you should do, like having two-way authentication on your WhatsApp, having two-way authentication on your Facebook. Certain things, for example, Facebook recently was asking me that I should set picture grabber as my login. So next time when I want to log in, I can just click on the picture and log in. And little things like that that make your login process easy, but actually make you more vulnerable to attacks and things like that. So the data detox is a very good tool, more or less like a manual that walks you through all those different concepts. And it's also available on the glassroom.org website, which is also mentioned on the misinformation, physical misinformation website, which I put on there now.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Oba.
Yes.
And thanks so much for sharing the link to the to Bill Square's work on misinformation. So I encourage everybody to check this link to get more information on that. We will curate this. I've already shared it on our Twitter handle for people who might want to follow to do so. So yeah, I think that we've learned so much on this topic today. I mean, I can pull so many tips from all the speakers in terms of what to do to be safe online and what to do in order not to fall victim to fake news. So at this point, I'll still open it up to anybody who has any question, any thoughts, comments that they want to share to do so. And our speakers, you're also free to chime in.
Before we end the section, I want to share these 3 pointers. Now, one is social media or internet will affect your mental health, whether you like it or yes. So you have to be guided with that. And then on the internet or with technology, if you're not buying the product, you are the product yourself. So then again, the internet will never forget. So share what you wouldn't regret ever, because it's either you are hacked or you are being hacked or you're about to be hacked, right? So I am done. That's all for today.
Wonderful. Those are some really powerful tips. Please don't leave just right now. We normally take a group picture as well, so we'll do that. But yeah, officially we are done. Thank you, Confidence. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Obasegun, for your wonderful inputs today.